Hi, welcome to another video in this past paper series. Today we're going to be looking at food and nutrition, syllabus code 0648, region 12. We're looking at paper 1 theory from the October-November, which is the winter series 2020. Name the type of molecules which combine to form protein. Amino acids. State how many of this type of molecule are essential for children. 10. Name 3 different foods which are good sources of plant protein. Lentils, bulgur wheat, and quinoa. Of course, you could also have tofu. Protein can provide energy which is used to maintain body temperature. State 3 other different reasons the body needs energy: for physical activity, growth, and the metabolism. State 1 effect on the body when energy intake is continually greater than energy output. Obesity. Describe what happens to protein when it is heated. The chemical structure is changed by heat. Think of an example when you're poaching an egg. Think about what the color of the egg looked like at the beginning and how it's changed by the heat. The heat causes the protein to set, or in other words, coagulate. This will cause the protein to change color and become white. This change cannot be reversed. It is a permanent chemical structural change. This is incidentally a useful effect when baking cakes, as it helps the cakes to set. Name 1 different nutrient which would be needed to help prevent each of the following health conditions. Night blindness, vitamin A. Osteoporosis, calcium. Spina bifida, folic acid. Beriberi, vitamin B1. Goiter, iodine. Pellagra, vitamin B3. 3A. Name the organ in the body which produces bile. The liver. Name 2 enzymes found in the stomach. Pepsin and renin. State 2 places in the digestive system where starch is digested. Starch is digested in the mouth and also in the small intestine. Name 1 enzyme involved in the digestion of starch. Salivary amylase, which is found in the mouth. State why it is important to have a daily supply of vitamin C. Vitamin C cannot be stored in the body, so we need to eat a daily supply of it. 4b. One of the functions of vitamin C is to prevent scurvy. Identify 5 other reasons why vitamin C is important in the diet. To make connective tissue. To heal wounds. To maintain healthy skin. To help with healthy gums. And lastly, to aid in the absorption of iron. (4c). Vegetables are a source of vitamin C. List 4 vegetables which are good sources of vitamin C. Bok choy, cauliflower, broccoli, and tomatoes. However, if you think tomatoes are a fruit, then perhaps you can go with potatoes instead. A recipe for sweet kebabs uses peach, apple, strawberry and kiwi. Suggest 2 other fruits which would be suitable for making the kebabs. Any fruit would do, but you want to specifically mention a firmer fruit, enabling sticks to be poked through them. Pineapple and mango are 2 good choices. Part B. The apples in the kebabs have turned brown. Name this type of browning. This is called enzymic browning. State 1 reason why this may have happened. The air oxidizes with the apple surface and causes them to go brown as a result of the apple cells being bruised because of cutting. Suggest 2 ways to prevent this type of browning happening. You can use an acid like lemon juice or lime juice or vinegar to coat the apples before using. You can also keep the apples soaked in or submerged in water until they are ready to be used. Section B, question 6. The following ingredients can be used to make a cheese sauce. 25 grams of butter, 25 grams of plain white flour, 250 ml of whole milk, 75 grated cheddar cheese. The cheese sauce contains ingredients which are high in energy. State 1 unit of measurement for energy. You could either have a calorie or a kilojoule. Name 1 group of people who need food which is high in energy. Children, or you could have athletes. The cheese sauce is high in cholesterol. Identify 4 ways to reduce the amount of cholesterol in the cheese sauce. So we could use an almond milk instead of the whole milk. We can also reduce the amount of cheddar cheese. So instead of using 75 grams, we might use 35 grams. We can also substitute the cheddar cheese for a low-fat cheese. That would also work. Choosing a cheese with a stronger flavour, like a Parmesan, might also be a good substitute, because by using a stronger flavoured cheese, you can use less cheese. We could also replace the butter with a polyunsaturated margarine, such as a sunflower margarine, or even maybe a vegan margarine. Perhaps use vegan cheese as well. Flour is used to thicken the sauce. Name this thickening process. This is called gelatinization. Give 4 guidelines with reasons for how to store flour in your home. You should store flour in the fridge. This will prevent lumps. Use sealed containers or covered boxes to ensure that no dust or bacteria or moisture get into the flour containers. You should also check your flour stock regularly to make sure there are no weevils. Weevils are small black insects that hatch and live in flour. Lastly, if you do buy new flour, don't mix it with the old flour. Rotate your stock. When the old flour has finished, then you can replenish your box. Give step-by-step instructions for making the cheese sauce by the roux method. You can start by melting the butter. Next, we're going to add the flour and stir thoroughly so that there are no lumps. This would generally be done with a wooden spoon, or you could have a silicone spatula. Next, you need to cook the roux in the pan until it becomes a golden sandy colour. As this sauce is a white sauce, you want to avoid overcooking the roux to become a dark blonde colour. Also, the longer you cook the roux for, the less gelatinization properties it will have, and therefore will not give you a thicker sauce at the end. You need to remove the roux from the heat before you add the warmed milk. Make sure that you are whisking consistently so that no lumps form. This is also a good time to add some Dijon mustard to flavour the sauce, or herbs. Next, we are going to cook the sauce until it has thickened or the gelatinization process has happened, and then we're going to remove it from the heat and stir in the grated cheese. Your cheese sauce is now ready to be used. And in the next question, name 3 dishes which include a cheese sauce. One of my favourites, lasagna. And one that you guys make in class as well, macaroni and cheese. And something we don't do at school yet, a tuna pasta bake. (7A) Name 2 moist methods of cooking. Moist implies that you are using liquid. Poaching and boiling are the 2 most obvious, although you could have had casserole or stewing. Name 2 dry methods of cooking. Roasting and barbecuing. Conduction and radiation are 2 methods of heat transference used in cooking. Explain the difference between conduction and radiation. In conduction, the heat travels through a medium, usually the metal tin that the roast chicken is being cooked in, or the glass dish for the macaroni cheese. The adjacent molecules to the glass dish and the metal tray vibrate and generate heat which passes through and cooks the food. Conduction is usually a gas or an electric oven. Radiation uses electromagnetic rays. The heat travels in straight lines from the source of the radiation. The rays fall onto the food and are absorbed. Therefore, the space around the food is not heated. An example of this type of cooking would be a microwave, as opposed to conduction, which would be a gas or an electric stove. Name one material used in the kitchen which is a poor conductor of heat. You can of course have ceramic, but wood would work equally as well. Name two methods of cooking which use convection: baking and roasting. State 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages of grilling as a method of cooking. It is a quick and easy method. It is a healthy method as you don't need additional fat. It also makes the food more delicious and crispier and gives good dextrinization on the food. A disadvantage of grilling would be that it is only suitable for expensive cuts of meat because it is a quick method. So you couldn't grill lamb shanks. You'll still have to put those in the slow cooker. Another disadvantage is that the food needs constant attention, which leads us on to disadvantage 3. It is easy to burn if you forget about it or you're not there constantly rotating the food. Food can be marinated before grilling. State 3 benefits of marinating foods before grilling. We can add flavour to the food, additional to what's already there. We can tenderize tougher cuts of meat. And lastly, we can add colour, depending on the ingredients of the marinade. 8. Identify and explain 5 reasons why a laminate worktop is a suitable material for a kitchen work surface. So, a laminate worktop comes in a variety of colours that are available to suit everybody's tastes and budget. They are hard wearing and durable, which is good because we have them at school and they will last a long time. Laminate worktops are easily cleaned. This will prevent contamination from microorganisms and bacteria that may reside They are stain resistant, which is particularly important as they will also be resistant to grease and can maintain that pristine finish for a longer period of time. They're also available in longer lengths, so you won't have joins which could potentially harbour bacteria. In section C, the essay part, you need to choose only one question to answer. That can either be question 9 or 10. Choose the question you think you're going to get the most marks from. In this video, I'm going to be answering question number 9. Many food items are packaged. Identify and discuss reasons for packaging. Assess the suitability of glass as a packaging material. This question is worth 15 marks. The first part will have a maximum marks of 8 and the second part will have a maximum marks of 8. Which translates to, you must make sure that you have got enough points in each of the sections in the essay. So in the second section, make sure that you've got 4 advantages and 4 disadvantages to get your full 8 marks for the suitability of glass. In the shops, food can be displayed and stacked easily. Certain types of packages are actually designed specifically to stack. Labels are an important part of packaging, as they can be used to attract customers. If you think about chocolate packaging, they can also be used to explain to the customers about the ingredients and recipe suggestions to customers to use their product. Labels can also include nutritional information. Which can help consumers make important nutritional decisions about their diet. The packaging contains the food. This means that it's much easier to transport the food from the shops to your home. This also will provide a barrier that will stop oxygen, dust, and microorganisms from getting into the food and thus causing food spoilage. It may provide some protection against vermin, however, depending on the type of package, the vermin still may be able to chew their way inside. Another bonus is that people handling the food won't be touching the food directly because it is inside the package. The packaging also provides a barrier against oxygen and water vapor, so it will reduce the food spoilage and stop fats going rancid and potential contamination. Consumers are able to use the food packaging to reheat or to cook the food inside. For example, you can make noodles in the cup they come in by adding the boiling water and then eating directly from the container when the noodles are ready. Some dishes also come in foil containers where the paper lid is removed and then they are put straight into the oven to bake. For example, lasagna, which could be cooked from frozen, thus making it much more convenient for the consumer. Packaging can also increase the shelf life of food. For example, canned food can be kept up to 2 years, and also we can preserve milk by using UHT methods. This will increase the shelf life of milk for up to 2 years while it is unopened. However, once it's opened, it must be stored in the fridge like fresh milk. Okay, let's move on to the second topic now. The advantages of glass as packaging. One of the most useful things of glass is that it is see-through, and therefore the consumer can immediately see the food that is packaged inside the glass bottle or jar. It is also possible to attach a lid, usually metal, onto a jar that will seal it to prevent any oxidation or microorganisms from entering the food inside. The glass is also non-reactive, which is particularly useful when it comes to things like pickled onions or sauerkraut, which, if in a metal tin, could cause problems. Another useful point about jars and glass packaging is that it is great for recycling at home. So once you have finished your jar of strawberry jam, the jar can be washed out, sterilized again, and then reused to hold other homemade food. For example, if you make your own jam, pickles. Jars and bottles can be given a metal seal which creates tamper-proof packaging. Now we're going to change and list some disadvantages. Remember, we need 4 advantages and 4 disadvantages. The main disadvantage of using glass is that although it is see-through and you can see the product, unfortunately UV light can enter the packaging and therefore damage the foodstuffs over time if it's not stored properly. Glass is also easily broken. And if you've ever carried several jars home in a bag from the shops, you'll know that actually glass jars can be very heavy, as opposed to tins, which are slightly lighter, or things in packets and boxes. Also, we cannot print directly onto glass, unlike packaging for noodles, for example. So we have to use additional packaging and labels to indicate the product, the nutritional information and advertising to customers, thus making the cost more expensive. Thanks for watching. Now go and get yourself a blank past paper and a pencil. It's time for you to have a go. See you next time.